name?
3, 2, we're live.
Hey,
Still doing research. Show prep.
We'll get a topic eventually.
Yeah. Welcome, Tips from the Bar. It's Tuesday the 13th. It's the day before. It's Valentine's Day Eve.
It is. It's Galentine's Day, I think.
Oh,
Parks and Rec,
Parks and
right?
Recreation.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't remember that. My kids could probably fill me in.
Good.
Yeah.
If you know about Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Galentine's Day.
I don't. Is that when we all go shopping?
That's
a different
nope.
That's actually, well, we're going to go.
Meat Day or something? Is that-
Oh, treat yourself.
Treat
That's-
yourself.
yeah, that's-
Day.
Treat yourself. Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, I was trying to find this on Facebook and this video. So there's a video on here, and this guy's at a shooting range, and it's like a security video watching it, and his laser's not working, so he's trying to look at his laser on his hand and shoots his hand.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a Darwin Award winner right there.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sorry, I totally distracted.
sometimes we provide tips. They're not all legal. One,
Do not
point
shoot
your gun at
yourself.
yourself. Like,
Don't
Shoot
shoot
your
yourself.
gun.
don't point your gun at yourself in any way.
Wow.
Yeah, like, don't do that.
I mean, that should be admitted as evidence as the reason why this person should not own a gun.
Yeah. So anyway, we're at Miss Baby Meets tonight, and I may have the wrong audio on. I hope the audio is okay.
Sounds
Can
like
you hear it okay?
Yep.
it.
I think I forgot to flip it to the blue mic. No, it's
We're
red.
good. We're good.
Oh, no.
Hey, Marina's
We're here somehow. I mean,
Somehow.
one how. There's just one how.
One how.
So we're here.
One how. For you.
Kurt, walk through
We're
the
all
door.
here.
We
We
walked
are.
It's like the first time in a long time
Yeah.
we've all
This
been
is
here,
true.
Done
That's
it.
true.
and we're crowded tightly around the little table.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Huddle.
So huddled
Cozy.
masses.
Yep.
So we're gonna touch on a few things tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a few
Got
things
some
happening in the
immigration
world.
updates.
There's some things that we'd like to talk about that we're not going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about some things that
Like
we will
parking
talk
and
about.
other attorneys.
We can talk about that. Parking other attorneys. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, there is no comment between those. It's
Right.
parking
Comma.
other attorneys.
Oh.
With this,
Right.
yeah, no
Yeah.
comma.
Oh, no
There's
comma.
parking
Things are
attorneys.
fine.
Okay.
We are
Okay.
parking other
Fine.
attorneys.
So
No, parking's fine.
Some
Attorneys
happenings.
are fine.
obviously there's a lot to talk about because we're coming up to that deadline. That's not really a deadline with the DACA thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
The
March
March
5th.
5th
March
fake deadline now.
Right.
Unless the court
So
steps
confusing.
in. Like the
Yeah.
court
So
can step in and
confusing.
change that.
Yeah, so another federal court in New York today recently issued an injunction against Trump's order to end DACA,
Mhm.
basically saying similar, echoing the court in California,
Yeah, the
who
Ninth
entered,
Circuit,
yeah,
in the
who
Ninth-
entered the
yeah,
injunction as
surprisingly.
well, saying that it's an executive order, so it's not through Congress, it's under the president's power, but basically the way he ended it was arbitrary and capricious. Essentially, the underlying issue is whether or not it was had racial motivations. So they ruled that it did. He didn't go through the proper procedure for ending it. So it's
I
been.
thought an executive order proper procedure
Yeah.
was an executive order.
It
No,
is,
it's Twitter.
but but they did actually. The judge did reference some of his tweets.
Did he?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
remember some
So,
of that. When
yeah.
Which
the other
also
case that came out.
seems like we're rewriting the world order and judicial review.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who
So
knows?
judges are not supposed to give political opinions.
Nor are they supposed to go outside the evidence that's presented in court.
That's true.
Well, somebody must have. Somebody
I
would have
think-
had to have presented the evidence.
Yeah,
at the
they
time.
likely would have.
They would have.
To
Somebody else
to
would have.
show
The judge would
the
have
intent,
went
the
out and
racial
just-
Yeah.
bias. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as of now, so that's in place. So if you need to file a DACA renewal, you can. You can contact me. Sorry, that was just accidentally touched. That was gross. No, I'm just kidding.
Ew. I gotta go.
Cooties.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah,
yes.
so if you need to renew, you can. You can do it quickly. Because
Now,
we don't know. They're
was it
trying
all
to.
Jordan
They're,
now?
they're trying
it's an
to
injunction,
get,
so it's not
yeah.
a permanent thing.
Right, and they're trying. So they're trying to get the Supreme Court to hear it. They haven't decided
Which now
yet.
you have 2 districts, so you should.
Yeah.
They should be able to get the
this.
Supreme
Yes,
Court now.
so
Absolutely.
we'll see. Also, as of today, they're still hammering out details, Republicans and Democrats, on what to
Right.
do. So
Does it sound like they're getting further apart again?
I don't know.
I
honestly.
tried to
I
follow
don't
it.
know. I keep hearing
You
I
have-
keep hearing, oh, we have something and it's good.
Yeah.
We're gonna move forward. But then they come back and it's like, no, we can't.
Just
It
to be a
won't
fly on
resolved.
the wall there, because someone's like, well, what about this? And it just throws everything into chaos again. And
Well, I
so,
think it's
Yeah.
as it always is. It's always the extremes of both ends,
Sure,
right?
sure,
The
sure,
middle
sure.
has what they can agree on.
yeah.
I think on the far side of the Democrats, they want to keep things like chain migration. They even want to extend DACA to parents who brought the children over.
Wouldn't that just be reigniting
Yeah.
DAPA?
Yeah. And then on the
Another
Republican
executive order.
side, they
Another
want
executive order.
money for the wall and
Right.
to end
Yeah.
chain migration. So I don't know. Hopefully they could do
I
something.
always wonder why they don't come together on the things that are kind of. It's a small step, but we know we got this.
Right.
Because I think
Yeah.
they
Like
want to
with, like,
latch
the
on
base-
to anything that
the
they know will
base
get
DACA,
passed.
right,
Right?
exactly.
They're trying to pack everything up.
Yeah.
Like the base DACA, I mean, there was a video of Trump even saying, well, I'll pass that if it's this certain way.
Yeah.
And most
And,
Give me-
and
give
most
me a
people,
clean
most
bill.
people understand that. I mean,
Everyone
I have
agrees.
never
Yeah.
talked to somebody that's like that disagrees with the concept of, hey, this kid was brought here when they were 3, they've been here their whole life, they don't know any better,
know
why
their
not?
whole
Yeah.
country.
So
yeah.
this is their country. I've never heard anybody that says a person in that situation they're going to disagree with that. So why not just get? I just don't understand why it's got to be so political and they can't just say, let's get this through.
Yeah.
So to me, I always look and say, okay, what's our real motivation? Because it's not getting it through. There's other political motivations there that
Right.
they're working with, and that's
Yeah.
always frustrating.
Well, and I think if they just took on immigration as a whole and stopped piecemealing everything together, I think that there's that would be the thing. But now you're taking on a bigger thing that more people are going to disagree
And
with.
I mean,
pieces and
the only
parts.
real immigration policy that needs to be in effect is that people should go to Jordan for their immigration stuff, and I think we can get that.
Is there an
enforced.
executive order for that?
Yep.
I mean, I think we
Not
go
yet.
through our
Hey,
governor and have
we
him
did
talk
that?
to them.
I
and
do
it-
declare.
I do
It was
declare.
submitted.
Hey,
Submitted.
It's all
It's
all
been a
perfectly
long
legal. Yeah.
it's all
But yeah,
It's
so
all-
if
wow.
you know anybody DACA questions
pizza one?
can renew,
Yeah.
let me know.
I'm just a small town pizza lord.
Sorry, it's another.
We were talking about this though. We
distraction.
were walking back from a meeting
Trying
today.
to
Though
think of a pun.
we were going to make we were talking about like the old "don't believe the hype" thing was going to be our sort of.
Right.
Now we're
Believe the
just going to be it's all perfectly legal.
It's all perfectly legal.
It's all perfectly legal.
I'm just a small town pizza lawyer. But you should
Pizza.
hire Jordan for your immigration.
He does not sponsor me. Just so everyone knows.
It's literally CCSK Law. You're the C in that. I don't.
But nobody knows what that means because it's too long.
It is way too long. Nobody's gonna know what Cartel of Category Kazakh stands
It's
for.
actually a Chelovich Star Scabber.
Oh.
You changed it.
Wow.
Wow.
We unalphabetized it.
I mean, I'm alright with it. Just that's a lot of work. Like you gotta change it. All right.
No. What is it?
So
It's Jordan Telovich and Associates
Yes.
Oh, there you go. I like that's got a nice
I've
ring
been
to it.
promoted by myself.
by itself.
Unilateral vote.
So yeah, so if
Share the
anyone has
quorum with
questions
herself.
about immigration, shoot them on Facebook or send me a message or give me a call.
is Noreen making fajitas tonight?
I don't think so. I saw that. She said, fine. Fajitas, anyone? I think it was because I was just like, I'm fine. So she's
Oh.
quoting a Friends episode where Ross is like, no, I'm really fine. I'm making fajitas. It goes off.
Oh.
And so she's quoting that because we watch Friends every night. It's
Oh.
just like
Oh, sure.
one of those shows that, like, we're going to bed, we have it on TV.
Mhm.
And that's one of our favorite episodes because it's just, you can't stop laughing.
It's a good one.
All right. Well, at least we have something that makes sense there about it. Because I wasn't sure where fajitas.
She
I
just-
actually
she
got really
just
excited
agreed.
offering
Fajitas,
fajitas. I mean,
I know.
I was like, yeah.
I haven't had a taco to eat.
Other than I can't do the tortilla shell, I'd take the fajita stuff.
Yeah.
The
You
inside.
can do a corn tortilla.
I could find a corn tortilla that doesn't have flour in it.
I think by design, a
Super
corn
market.
tortilla.
Yeah, I didn't
doesn't
think
have-
that they did.
But it's got
unless
corn.
they.
So it's too
But corn's
processed.
not-
Still too processed.
I don't know.
I believe
I
it's
can-
maize.
I think they make them down here.
It's maize. Our immigration
I'm just
does
kidding.
Maize.
There's
Maize is
the
the
grocery
corn
store
food.
El Milagro is the name of the brand. They have corn tortillas that are like
Who? Which one?
Cool.
El Milagro.
I think that's what I buy.
Yeah.
At all.
I might have to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, they might.
Maybe.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I'll have to check into it.
We're just
Sure.
like bringing up the endorsements tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of our sponsors, thanks.
It's all perfectly legal.
I think I have that now. Let's see if
Yep.
this will work. You can hear it over Madonna in the background. You never know what music we're gonna have here. Didn't we just have Scorpion a little bit ago? And now it's
I
gone.
think so.
But
This
I
is
like it.
like
It's a good
80s?
channel.
Yeah,
It's
It's a good
80s,
channel. I like
yeah, probably.
it. I don't know if anybody can hear that or not, but
I
that's
don't know. I can hear it. It made me smile. So the other thing we want to touch on tonight, before we take it out to whatever else we talk about, but
pure banter.
pure banter.
Pure banter.
One of the things that I have been concerned, I still am concerned about, as there's this aging population and the cost of maintaining a home or going into a facility is getting more expensive.
Mhm.
So you have this aging population that doesn't need the home in the yard, can't maintain it, don't need all the square footage, but they can't make a jump into an assisted living facility that's $3,000-$4,000 a month. And they also don't need nursing home level of care, so you don't need to, move all the way down to nursing home level of care. So the gap that I see is people who may have, $1,000, $2,000 a month in income, not enough in resources to make up the gap to pay for a place like that. And for the last year or so, I've heard about this move to create Medicaid, assisted living facilities that would take Medicaid. To get Medicaid, you have to be disabled. To live in an assisted living facility, a lot of times those don't match. But they've been creating these places, and I heard about there's one in Hammond. There's a company out of Illinois that's built one in Hammond, and then late last year they opened one in Maryville called Belvedere, and I had a chance to visit them a couple weeks back, and it is great. And if you can qualify for, it's great in the sense that you can leverage Medicaid to get the level of care that you need. It's like a Pines or a Rittenhouse when you walk up on it. When you walk into it, the facilities look the same, but the amenities are the same. But if you qualify for a Medicaid home-based waiver, you can
go there,
translate that into this place. So the way this one's structured, and it's different in different markets. It's driven by the average income as it's calculated by the state. But for about $800 a month, out of pocket for the person, you've got room, board, activities. There's 24/7 nurse on site, so it's you still have to have some level of independence. This is an assisted living place, not a nursing home level of care.
Living. Yeah,
but it fills a huge gap for a population that I have a concern about, and you still have to qualify income-wise and resource-wise. The income qualification is just a little bit different than the pure home-based waiver, but it's doable.
Right.
I mean, it's something you can adjust to.
And that's something that you help with, the actual planning of
exactly.
How do you reach that level.
And I deal with a lot of people that, don't have the resources to, go out and pay $7,000 for an attorney to put them in, qualify for Medicaid. I have a real struggle with that. You're trying to prove someone's broke. And you want to charge
by charging a lot of money. They are.
Hey,
now.
it made you broke now.
Well, you're broke now. There you go.
But
now you qualify.
Now you qualify.
So
Problem solved.
it's
I know how to make it qualify.
But I was on a webinar again today. I told you all this, and I probably said it on this medium before. But I go to webinars. I go to webinars.
You go to webinars.
I go right to my computer.
Right there. He was there. I watched him.
I go to seminars. I watch webinars, and I listen to this mantra of attorneys aren't charging enough. Attorneys aren't charging enough, and I just am not following lockstep into that. And I find a lot of opportunities for either reduced fees or pro bono fees to help people get services they need. And this is I'm really excited. So they have the one in Maryville. It's right off of Delaware. So if you go 93rd Street, you turn north onto that sort of cutaway, where you can come off of That's not Broadway. Is that Broadway? Yeah, it's Broadway.
Yeah.
Broadway.
The 53.
And, yeah. By the business parks over there, kind of south of the hospital.
Yeah.
They're new enough. They're not full yet. There's one bedroom or a studio option.
I'm just amazed that place is not packed already. People are just not clamoring for it. They just not know about
I think again, this whole waiver thing is hard for people to adjust to. It's a fairly new concept for the masses. It was harder to qualify before.
Well, because especially for the seniors because we were talking about this probably a week or two ago, whenever it was, and I think this is a huge deal because the whole thing with the reverse mortgages that a lot of people count on is kind of going.
That's
away.
gone. I mean, that is for all practical purposes gone.
And so, what do you do? Well, now there's an option if you can get the Medicaid home waiver that $800 a month is going to be with that kind of help is going to be cheaper than supporting your own house and paying for additional
Paying
costs
rent.
and everything,
Oh,
paying
yeah.
rent.
Even paying rent
Yeah,
in a normal
paying rent.
apartment
You're
without
not gonna-
food.
Right.
Yeah,
without
that's-
food. So just
Right.
have all activities and things like that. I mean, it's a huge thing. Matter of fact, I hope that they do more than just these few facilities.
So
that
there's a
have
new
one.
one open in Michigan City scheduled for March. Now I will say
Okay.
the challenge with this. So there's this whole concept of care in place. That's the big,
Right,
not
right,
care
right.
in place. I've said it before.
Caring.
Care in
Care in
place.
place.
Care in place with somebody else.
There is
School
a
with.
caring.
But the challenge is the definitions conflict with each other because
Okay.
Medicaid can only do service provisioning for people in a certain qualification of medical need, and the facilities have to meet certain. So assisted
Okay.
living doesn't fit Medicaid's definition.
I mean, it's got to be
by
built.
definition.
It's got to
Yeah,
be
you
built
don't
for
need
this.
the-
Right. And
It's
so
gotta be
they
structured.
sort of
Yep.
slept on it for a little bit, let a few come through, but then they've stopped certifying them again. And they're trying to work out the language. That, again, our government, in its infinite brilliance, had put a deadline of rectifying all these circumstances, and then they pushed the deadline back
Yeah.
because people weren't acting fast enough. Here's what we'll do: take the pressure off, because that's.
Right. That's always a good.
So then
solution.
what they do is they
Yeah.
pull the reins back
Especially
in again.
For the government that waits till midnight.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
The only time they
Exactly.
get something done is when they're
Yeah.
up against it.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make bad decisions, and you're going to stop doing that now. I mean, but there is one that's already been in the construction process and is supposed to open March, so that one will get its certification. And the thing that really allows it to happen is that Medicaid still comes in and fills that gap. So someone's income, they're paying the 8, and then Medicaid comes in and makes up the difference up to maybe close to $3,000 or something like that. So
Okay.
it is a business model that works for
Yeah.
business people. This is a privately owned facility.
No, certainly.
They're given tax credits. They have to build in certain places. They look at, again, the income levels, poverty levels, and things like that. So we couldn't plop it down in the middle of downtown Valpo.
Right.
But it works in Maryville. It works in Michigan City. It might
That's
work
great.
someplace in our county if there's someplace
Yeah.
that meets that. But again, the Hammond or East Chicago facility, this place has tens of facilities in Illinois. So they've done this. They've got the model.
They're
down.
just moving into Indiana. So it's
Yeah,
like-
but Indiana, because Medicaid's defined at the state level and with some federal oversight, Indiana's kind of tripping over itself on this.
Mm.
There are a few places in Indianapolis. There's a place that qualified down in Demont, Oak Manor. They were an already existing facility, but they've converted part of their assisted living into this too. So
Oh, nice.
they're out there. I had heard about it, and now I'm excited to actually see it
Yeah.
and know that it'll help people.
I mean,
It's
I'm
really going to free up some people.
My mother was in a Medicaid facility in a nursing home, but before that, I mean, I always felt like they put her in there a little soon because she really couldn't help, and then
There's
put
no
her there,
option.
and she deteriorated faster initially because of that, but then kept on with it.
Right.
Where
Yeah.
if she would have had an option, even though she was on a fixed monthly income,
Right.
she would have had options. It's something that would have given her a better quality of life.
The
yeah.
kicker of this
It would've
is
been
like, so somebody who, the average Social Security in the area, they look at the state average Social Security, which is a tick below 1,400 if I remember correctly.
If you're doing $800 a month, you got plenty of room to.
You got room to actually have a
do
life,
stuff.
right?
Yeah.
So you can continue
Because
to
your
do
food's
so.
already covered.
Yeah.
And so you can, there's and it really goes to the dignity of life thing, caring place.
You need to get a bus
Okay.
and start a casino
I
bus.
like where this is going. Yes. Casino
for
bus.
a buck a
For the
ride, a
assisted
buck
living.
there, a buck back, a
Go
buck there, a
on.
buck back, and go to these places.
Yeah, because I have money for that.
There we go.
Um,
and actually, this is brilliant. Trademark, copyright, all of that.
It's our idea.
If only
You
we
get
knew an
part of
IP.
it.
If we only,
Right.
if only we knew an
But
Well, the IP attorney we do know will say that it's just an idea, and I can't.
Can't-
There we
protect
go.
it.
Can't lock it
There
up.
we go.
Anyway, so I was excited about that. If you have questions about it, if you want to talk about it, if it's pertinent to your circumstance, you don't have to live in Lake County or LaPorte County to qualify for this. You just have to live in Indiana. A person's going to apply for the waiver based on their residence in the state of Indiana. I said that I don't know about. I need to visit the place down in Demont, just get a better feel for it. But
Yeah.
I think Danielle was the person I met with over in Maryville, and she was excited that I was learning about it, and then I was excited about it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I talked to some of the people living there. They're just happy as clams. I mean,
Sure.
they're about dinner time. It was 4:30, and it's a like they're seated. The people come out and take their order. They have like a menu, a couple options.
Oh,
So it's a
really?
lot like my daughter who worked in the dining room at the Pines. That they get some options too. So
Sure.
it's not like you go stand like
It feels like they're going out
it's
to eat with
table
friends.
side, right? Yeah.
Right.
And the staff were super friendly.
There you go.
It's obviously new, so it's fresh, clean, bright.
Yeah.
To be honest, when you hear about these facilities being built, you wonder how they're going to be built. Is it going to be more like a nursing home or
Oh, yeah.
old school county homes?
Yeah.
If you think about
Right.
those places that are still around,
Yeah.
if they aren't still around, this is you could put it right next to a written house in the Pines, and
Nice.
you wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah.
And they're like I said, all their attitudes are great.
Sure.
And I just sort of casually chatted with a few people who've been living there, and they just couldn't say enough good things about
So
the
cool.
experience. So,
That's fantastic.
so if you have questions about that, if you have a loved one who might be crossing that line, or you want to know what potentially is out there in the future, give us a call or visit our website, fill out the form, and we can sit down. I don't charge for that first call or that first sit down meeting, just so you have a feel for what your options are, and then we can figure out what we need to do from there.
But you're right. A lot of people don't even know what questions they might have. You
Yeah,
know,
I think that.
they just. they're
So we
like,
should
I have a
charge them a
topic.
couple $100
Oh,
just
yeah.
to sit down and talk, right?
Oh yeah, ridiculous like that.
I mean,
but
I
that's
think we
what
can tell them
don't
what they
do,
need to
that's
know,
what we-
what they want to know
Mhm.
for like $100, right?
Yeah.
And-
Again, now we're going off into venting about other attorneys. This is
what we
the-
hear from people. Like I couldn't meet with another attorney.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
couldn't meet with
Without
somebody
paying.
else
Without
because of paying. Or
So-
I talked to their assistant, and their assistant told me that if I wanted to talk with the attorney, it's going to be $250.
Oh yeah, no,
Just
they
to
don't.
sit
They don't talk to the attorneys. They'll talk
Yeah.
to an assistant that tells them, "Well, we can schedule an appointment. It's going to be $250."
Someday maybe we'll have a reception.
down.
Someday.
Right now we have to take our
We
own
got the
calls.
personal touch right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's going to
but
stay
we've been
that way.
complimented. We've been complimented on the reception service that we do have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they,
Well, we
they
do.
do.
We do. We have a
fantastic
service
job.
that
And they are
answers
four
the phone,
lawyers,
they're-
and they do an amazing
They
job.
do a great job. And so
Something that I did want to hit on though is that we actually got a question last week after the video,
Oh, yeah,
which was
Chris.
Chris. Yeah, Chris had posted a question about lots of snow this week, which was last week. What are the laws covering slips and falls on your property as a business? I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, definitely something to keep an eye on, and especially when all this stuff melts, and then when it gets cold again and freezes back over, this is going to be huge on this, right?
Similarly, the ice.
I was
ice
going to say,
falls
over
that
by your
fall.
place, there's some buildings over there, some
Yeah.
apartment buildings that it's almost reaching the floor.
Wicked.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Somebody
Icicles
goes.
down.
Somebody
Yeah.
will die if that
Yeah.
falls on them.
It's like
Yeah.
Christmas.
I mean,
They're
it's
pretty bad.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
mean,
so
these things are like 5 foot long,
Yes.
and they're like this
It's
thick
super
around.
short.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I'm going to lay some common sense real quick and say that
Don't walk under that.
preventative measures are huge as a business owner. Put down the salt, not knock down the icicles that are like going to murder people, and like
Right.
I mean, just take some preventative measures. And one of the preventative measures that's big that people take is like having their parking lots plowed.
Right.
Make sure you have a contract with that snow plower. Make sure that they're legitimate and insured, right? Because this moves into the second thing. I'm giving almost non-legal solutions here. Have insurance in place for all
Oh,
this.
sure.
Because if you own a business for long enough, at some point, if you have a parking lot and you're taking care of that and you're not renting the place, but you own it, someone's going to slip at some point,
Right.
right? And now if you're renting the place, the landlord takes care of the common areas, but
Right.
you have to have liability for your inside, right? I'd make jokes with clients, or clients make jokes with me where they own just this small little office like closet space, and then the landlord takes care of the rest. And it's like, so if someone slipped and fell in mine, should I just like drag them out into the hallway? But
Go ahead. I was gonna
yeah,
get to
so
that.
I was just going to say that insurance, so like you do as much preventative measures as you can beforehand, and then anything over top of that, insurance should cover that, because there are lawsuits that are torts against you if somebody slips and falls. It's a personal injury claim. If it's on your property and if you're renting in your office space, you will be liable for that. But insurance is going to be a great defense. But preventative is number one. Prevent it from happening first.
Well, and you thinking that you're not liable doesn't always shield you, because there's a court case that was run up, a slip and fall case over in front of Pier 1, like a local case.
Yeah.
Pier 1 over in Maryville. Someone fell outside of Pier 1.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's common area.
Right.
Well, they said, well, I'm going to Pier 1. So you hire an attorney, and the attorney's going to sue everybody they possibly can.
Sure.
So they
Yeah.
sue the
Always do that, right?
landowner,
Yep.
they sued the management company, and they sued Pier 1.
Is that like enticement to a common nuisance or something?
It was like
You
they
brought me
don't,
in here.
but they don't know who is truly liable, and
You entice me with your good deals.
you're gonna try to tag it on them and let them fight it out.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
if I can get a judgment against one or any of them, they can figure out who's going to pay me. I'm just going to get paid.
Yep.
Right.
So joint several. So the reality is, like, I think about this at our place because we do have people that come out and plow our lots, and they shovel in front of our walk. But again, all day today, the snow's melting, ice running down. I walk out now and I'm thinking, I'm gonna bite it.
night.
I'm gonna bite
Yeah.
it now
Yeah.
where that water's puddling.
Yep.
Right.
And so I'm real careful walking to my car. And so having some ice by your door may save you from having to be dragged into court, because you may not lose in court.
So,
Some
yeah,
ice
the
salt.
ice.
Salt
Don't
fire.
have the ice fire, have the
ice
salt.
to frost.
Yeah,
Salt
sorry.
or something to
Keep
put
ice
down. Keep
everywhere.
ice by your door. Take your hose,
Right.
Ice down
take
your
a
Ice right
bucket,
down.
baby,
And some
ice
skates.
it, and skates.
So
Skates.
salt. But
Salt. That's a better idea.
but the reality is, you may not lose in court, but if you're going to court, you're paying
You're
an
going to have to
attorney.
pay money.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so we, in fact, Jordan and I did a co-deal with somebody over in Illinois, and she was brought into court. She should have never been brought into court, and we charged minimally. I will say we did not charge what we put into it, but it was still several $100s.
Mm-hmm.
And
It costs to be sued. It does.
It does.
and it, in fact, so much so that I had put into the court that not only should they have been discharged, I didn't put in, I wrote, you put it into court, that her fee should have been repaid,
Yeah.
because the other attorney should not have ever named her.
But it
Don't
has to
think
be.
it's going to come up,
It has to
but
be
at
pretty
least we got
frivolous.
her. What's that?
It has to be pretty frivolous for you to get that, unless it's stated in a contract somewhere. But in a slip and fall, it's not in a contract.
Right.
No,
Right.
and this was, if you would have read anything, this person shouldn't have been named.
Yeah.
There's somebody trying to
Yeah.
cover their
Let's go to
like-
baseless. Try to cover.
But throwing the
everybody.
net way too large, and so I think
Right.
sometimes you have to snap back on those people.
Sure.
But
sure.
but again, you may not lose in court, but it's going to cost you money to not lose in court.
Yep.
Right.
That's why we're not huge fans of having to go to court,
There's
but we'll do it if we have to.
a few different steps before you ever get to like a jury trial. You know, the classic scene there. One is what's called a motion to dismiss, and then the other one is like a motion for summary judgment. The motion to dismiss is very early on. Somebody files a complaint against you. They are complaining that you've done something wrong. And so what you do is you say, look, I shouldn't even be involved in this. I'm getting a motion to dismiss.
Right.
However, the rule of law is that they're going to assume the facts are true unless you could really show otherwise. So if you have a really strong case early on to get motion dismissed, it's going to save you a lot of money, because if you have to go through what's called discovery, where you have to start getting documents and talking and paying the attorneys to do a whole bunch of attorney stuff, it's going to
Interrogatories.
and interrogatory, answering a whole bunch of questions, basically, right? Or depositions, where again you're answering more questions.
And you're paying people to go
Yeah.
through
Yes.
the
Again,
process of depositions. I mean, the number of people involved. It's not about time. It's about you're paying so many people to be involved in depositions.
and so
Expert
then
witness.
you have to build up enough evidence within that to say, look, the motion for summary judgment, we're going to summarize this judgment to say, see, this evidence that we just discovered is reason that we should not be involved in this case. But you don't want to even get to that point. If you can get a motion dismissed, so somebody sues you and you're like, look, dismiss this. We shouldn't be here in the first place. That's what you want to go for if you end up getting sued. But again, preventative measures are always better.
Best not
That's
to get
always
sued
better.
in the first
It's
place.
best not to get sued in the first place.
So don't keep ice by your door. Keep salt
Keep salt.
by
Tip
your
from the
door.
bar.
You learned
not
anything
ice.
tonight.
Right. Salt.
That is
Tip
it.
from the bar.
This is
Salt's
salt
not
that's
ice.
good for you.
Keep it
Yeah.
clean. The other thing too is to think about this. If you've got any like metal thresholds that are fairly wide that somebody could step on and slip on, put some sort of like a tacky strip on there or something to give a little extra grip. Because I actually sat through back in law school. I was clerking for a judge, and I sat through a case in the court next door.
The tacky threshold case.
And,
Classic.
well, no, it was a fairly big name drugstore, and they didn't keep up with the salt and stuff outside, and someone come in, they stepped on that metal threshold, and there was no tack strip or anything, and broke the ankle, and range of motion's all shot. I mean, it was a $500,000 judgment.
Wow.
That's why you sue the big name.
Yeah,
That's
well,
good.
that's true too. Yeah. But
So,
I mean,
So
in all
you-
fairness, the quality of life went down. and all that
Don't
sort of stuff.
assume that your landlord's going to take care of it. Don't assume your landlord's liable. Your landlord may in fact be liable, or the property management company may in fact be liable. But attorneys are paid to win for their clients, and they will cast as large a net as they possibly can to do that. So,
Sue everybody up the chain.
Yeah.
so
that's
just
it.
if there's ice in front of your door,
Anybody
you
near
think
the
it's property,
chain.
throw a
Everybody
little
near the
something.
chain.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
come after you
If you
personally
look
for
at the
negligence.
chain, they're coming after you.
Right.
Yep.
So that would be a great sort of takeaway from tonight too, and we appreciate Chris asking the question because
Yeah, great question.
there's a, like I said, we rent space.
Yeah.
We have common area
Mhm.
that our landlord takes care of.
But we
But
still
we could
want
get
you
sued.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a place like a building you're in or whatever, and you see big icicles hanging down, I'm a fan of knocking those down.
Yeah.
Well, but not with the BB gun because you'll shoot your eye out.
Well,
shoot
don't
your eye
shoot
out.
your eye out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch
yeah.
how you knock
But-
it down.
we had some actually at our house near the walkway, and I knocked them down
Are
with a
there-
shovel.
Are there professionals that you can call in to knock that stuff down to be safe? I don't know.
Well,
Is
you
there somebody who
need some
does
part-time
that?
work? We can do
I'm
that.
just
for you.
saying.
Yeah.
Like, is that a thing?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know if we
just-
should recommend
it's-
people that
and
stand underneath something and then knock it
Yeah.
down.
This
You know,
it
so-
was interesting
again,
because I
common
had
sense.
to,
We're hoping goes a long way with this.
I had to
but-
run to the store today at lunch, and I ran to the store. And when I went back home and took the stuff back home, I went by where Jordan was, and I mean, there's one building over there that's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I mean,
It's almost to the ground.
I looked at it, I was like,
It's
someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally, if that falls on.
Wow.
It's so bad. It's so bad, and it's not like one spot. I mean, it's like the
the
whole thing.
whole building.
My house, I don't know why my gutters must be
Deadly.
frozen
Yeah.
over because I'm having that same issue.
Yeah.
We're just like I'm in one of those 70s houses where the garage is way out front and the range
Yeah.
is set back,
Yeah.
and you have like this pathway to the front door, and so you have this U shape right outside the front door. And I heard my wife say to my daughter this morning, "Watch out for the ice." I'm like, "Oh, I gotta get up and start to walk," because I've shoveled like crazy the last several days, but
Sure.
it just rains down. The sun's been out,
Yeah.
it's so warm,
Melts it and
and it
freezes
just melts
at
it,
night.
even though it's still freezing.
Yeah.
And so it hits the ground and pretty quickly gets freezing. So I'm worried about the postman.
Oh,
he's,
yeah.
gonna,
you
he's
go.
gonna step on my walk and he's gonna be happy I shoveled, and he's gonna wipe out on my walk and sue me.
Yeah.
So yeah, just I threw some ice down or threw some salt down.
Okay.
Yeah, I do some like that. Oh, all right, you got it.
And on that note,
Yeah, how
Yeah.
about it?
it's we're 5 after.
Casting,
Dry
casting
ice.
some
It was
ice.
dry ice.
Right.
It's dry ice. It's very smoky feel.
We're gonna have ice. At least have salt mixed in with it.
Despite my confusion with salt and ice. If you have questions, feel free to contact us.
Please do.
We're semi-competent.
Like
most
if you
of
want the
time.
difference between salt and ice,
Yeah.
we'll
And which
explain
one
that.
you should
Well,
put
it's
down.
Which one you should put down.
We're at CCSKLaw.com. Feel free to enter in a question on the comments page there.
Right. And as we did, if you have a question, you're watching this
message.
later,
Oh,
leave a
yeah.
message in the box.
We'll check it up next
We'll
week.
pick it up
we'll
next
catch
time
it
we're
up.
in there again. Thanks to Chris for asking the question. Timely and I think a question a lot of people have.
Indeed.
And there's a lot of attorneys that specialize in slip and falls. It was
They do.
like one of those funny concepts when you hear in law school, like that's really like something people focus on. Slip and fall, slip and fall.
Yep.
It
I
is.
whole thing.
love the videos, like when you see like department stores and their video cameras catch it, and like there's two people walk in, and one of them runs up and spills something, the other one runs up and slips on it,
Ah.
and then they try to. I think those are just hilarious.
People are smart. Or shooting themselves in the hand. I'm sure that
Shooting
that's
themselves.
gonna
Right?
sue
Yeah. No,
sue
the
the
laser's
gun
not
range.
working. The thing is, he did it like 3 times. He's like, "The laser's not working." Huh? No, laser's not working. And he's boom, and it's just like, what did you think
Wow.
was going to happen?
All right. Don't shoot yourself. And
Don't shoot your
Clean up your
we got
walkway.
salt, not ice.
Right.
The government will fix something someday.
Someday the
I'll
I'll let
government
you
will
guys
do
know
something.
when we know.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
Yep.
We'll keep an update.
Other than that,
Give us a
let know if
buzz.
we can help.
Have a good week.
CCSKlaw.com.
Watch
And
out
thanks
for those
joining.
icicles.
That's right.
Yep.
See you next
Good night.
week.
Watch out.